What's on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and the ongoing back and forth in the Star Wars Acolyte now has, I think, maybe reached the Last Jedi levels of just back and forth controversy, articles where the press is going after the original fandom. I talked about at length yesterday in videos about how it was completely absurd how they were treating the original fandom, that they were pretending that suddenly all these people around the Acolyte are toxic, but the same people who were watching and liking The Mandalorian weren't toxic, right? The idea that this is just a completely different group of human beings who just don't like the Acolyte for its very obvious progressive, I would say, like, ingredients, right? Like, the show itself isn't like crazy woke. The storylines aren't woke. It's just you could see every little thing that gets touched by that ideology in the show. And now there's a website called the Wookiepedia, which is a play on, obviously, Wikipedia, where it is kind of establishes official Star Wars lore. A lot of people go who are big lore buffs, okay? They go here, they find out, hey, is this actually lore or is it not? Which, again, I'm not a big, the lore breaking stuff like around Anakin is obviously insane. But small little things aren't going to necessarily ruin a show for me. But now this has morphed into the most hilarious debacle ever, as the creators or the people behind Wookiepedia, which are very progressive and very the message, are now pretending that people are sending them all sorts of mean messages, and they have trending hashtags. Now, I stand with the Wookiepedia. What are all these terrible messages? Don't know. Hashtag made it up. And the conversation's hilarious. Even mainstream media is picking up on it. By the way, I normally don't get I haven't talked about my coffee company in a while because so many people thought I was talking too much about it, but I thought I would put together a sale. Promo code RIP Star Wars, one word, RIP Star Wars, 10% off site-wide. I would absolutely love it if you gave our coffee a try. We have our monthly Roaster's Choice program, which is 50% off the first month. We have K-Cups with our top flavors like blueberry cobbler, strawberries, and cream. We have our top flavor, again, blueberry cobbler. We have our dark roast. We have a silky ultra dark roast. We have so many options. Everything is roasted, fresh on demand, small batch. This isn't some, drop ship junk. We have our actual own staff that ships your orders, that roasts your, get everything ready for you. And we have a huge selection of coffee. I would really love if you gave us a try. That's coffeebrandcoffee.com. Link will be in the description as well. The Acolyte, Star Wars The Acolyte, haters are trying to turn alien lifespans into the next big controversy. Some Star Wars fans are upset. Imagine that. The latest freakout turns on a minor bit of canon that was scrambled in episode 4. So I want to say right there, so you admit, right? So you admit that the lore is wrong. You admit that those who are upset are correct. Now, every other word in this article is going to be telling you about how it's totally not a big deal. But this same outlet would probably be telling you if you got the pronouns wrong of a particular character, that would be absolutely devastating. It has to do with the prequel movies and lifespans of one particular type of alien that doesn't even really factor into anything important. The response from some people have been so apocalyptic, though, that even the editors of Wookiepedia, the internet repository for every bit of arcane Star Wars lore you could imagine, have come out to tell everyone to chill out. Now, again, why? Because the people that run this website are extremely progressive. They agree with, quote unquote, the message, and they are sweeping. They are covering for all of the mistakes that Star Wars is making. They're covering for trampling the lore of Star Wars, and that's what people are mad about. This is textbook definition of not having a normal one. Began on June 18th After episode 4 in The Acolyte included a cameo by a High Council Jedi Master with a massive forehead, many might remember his brief appearance in The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, or Revenge of the Sith. Well, he's not exactly that insignificant. He was in 3 movies, okay? And based on the previous understanding of Star Wars lore, Mundi would have technically been born 40 years after the events of The Acolyte, which takes place near the end of the High Republic era, roughly a century before the end of the prequels. Complaints began pouring in about the inconsistency, with some fans turning them into a cudgel in which to go after the Disney Plus show that sports a diverse character roster. They cast much more cynical light on, quote, the good guy Jedi and their space magic orthodoxy. I always think it's funny when these news outlets or people who are, pro, the message and all this kind of stuff, they always try to, it's just a space opera. What do you care? It's just a space opera. No big deal. Blah, 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 blah. But also write the same article like, this is the best day ever. Star Wars makes pronouns canon. If you think I'm kidding about those articles, they exist. All you need to do is look them up, and they're there for you. Disney has, quote, not only destroyed Mundi's character and their entire species lifespan, but canon and lore, but also has the character offed and made him into a liar. Read one very popular thread on the Saltier Than Great fan subreddit that's because in addition to retconning Mundi's age, the Acolyte also seemingly contradicted his, quote, the Sith have been extinct for millennia line from the prequels by teasing a new Sith villain for the show, of which everyone basically already knows it's basically one of 2 people. Nobody's going to be surprised by it. And again, all they're doing is trying to get people member berries, right? Remember, we need the Sith because no one's tuning in. You see Star Wars Theory, people are mad at Star Wars Theory, who's a well-known fan, established fan of the Star Wars series, as well as a wide variety of other Star Wars products. Mundi said the Sith haven't appeared in a millennia during the Phantom Menace. How do we retract this? Let's just write him into the show. But he hasn't been born for another 40 years. No one will notice, and if they do, this is my canon now. Just do it. This tweet has over 20,000 likes at this time. But of course, Wookiepedia, again, you can notice they have a certain very supportive flag in their bio for the month, writing, we aren't going to mince words on this one. If your response to an editor adding a date on an article to Wookiepedia is to tell them horrible things, then you're not a Star Wars fan. Hate like that has no place here, and you're not welcome in our community. Just days before this, they had talked about how, gatekeeping has no place in Star Wars, but apparently now they want gatekeeping. You can see here, there's a battle going on the Wookiepedia official page because the character date is wrong. Now, can I admit that this is a small, quote-unquote, insignificant show or detail on the show? Yes. To some people, all right? To people who are hardcore Star Wars fans, it's not about this mistake, which is what Kotaku and everybody who's sweeping and covering for this want you to believe. It's about yet another example of modern-day writers for Star Wars who don't care about established lore as long as it's pushing progressive politics. You can see this tweet. People have said, hey, what's going on? What's going on here? Why is there, this is incorrect. All I want to do is update the correct piece of lore. Now they've locked the replies. So people started asking them, oh, wow. Hashtag I stand with Wookiepedia was trending all over Twitter last night. It must have been some pretty heinous things that people said. Well, we see a direct message from somebody that says, Star Wars sucks now. Okay. And then very popular name bunch of numbers account, Ben 3098940842349er, writing F you, so corrupt and untrustworthy. Again, these are DM requests. And are there more? By the way, they specifically mentioned that people were saying stuff about their pets. Well, they didn't show that. The whole idea of, we stand with Wookiepedia. Everybody who's on this, like, to those replying screenshots or it didn't happen, what does it matter? Well, it does kind of matter, because I would stand with you if people were saying stuff about your pets like you're saying they are. They launch a stinking, they launch a Twitter space. They are just like so in love with the attention that they're getting right now. Launch a Twitter space, talk about how they're totally not upset about this. Oh, look at that, we're trending. Oh, we're so popular now. Here's Star Wars rainbow colors. Isn't this really cool? Again, the people that run this site are the exact same type of people that have infiltrated many, community manager positions, while people in the actual fandom weren't paying attention. People with extremely progressive far left ideology decided that, correctly, by the way, that they could obtain these positions of a lot of power, a lot of gatekeeping, simply by donating their time. And you see here, Wookiepedia now blaming Star Wars Theory for people being mean to their website. Somebody wrote, it's that time that Theory uses his platform. It's time that Star Wars Theory uses his platform, his reach and influence, to denounce mean words. With the largest voice in the Star Wars community, simply casually covering his own rear. Remember, be respectful doesn't cut it. Silence is endorsement. It actually isn't. Silence is not endorsement. Of course, then they go, it's telling that we didn't get anybody saying anything mean to us until immediately after he told his followers to come fix Wookiepedia. The ones that came to vandalize the site are the ones that we also got mean words for. I mean, again, no evidence for that whatsoever. They're just going to say all this kind of stuff. No evidence for it. They're having complete meltdowns and for nothing. Because really what's happening is they are sweeping for Disney, and that's what people are mad about. Does this one minuscule piece of lore in the Star Wars universe, is it the be-all, end-all? No, it isn't. However, it's a pattern of behavior from those that endorse Disney Star Wars and endorse what they're doing. The character isn't even supposed to be born for another 40 years. Rather than just acknowledge that the Acolyte made a mistake, they are now blowing this out of proportion and painting themselves as some sort of heroes fighting against evil forces. And what do those evil forces want? Well, they just want you to respect the lore and admit you made a mistake. Like the dozens of mistakes that the show has made, like having fire in space, or erasing Anakin Skywalker's entire storyline, or having the Force be a female entity that can birth women or something like that. All this insane stuff in the show, this is like only the smallest part about it, but they're just saying, look, somebody said some mean words to us, so therefore, your arguments or your critiques are not valid. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. And I won't let them do that. And I hope that you don't either. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please do follow or subscribe. Don't forget, coffee brand, coffee1word.com, promo code RIPStarWars. Save 10%. Give us a try. I just know you'll love our coffee. It's ultra high quality, small batch stuff. It's not some, run-of-the-mill drop ship stuff that people seem to have, a lot of people seem to sell. We'll talk to you again real soon.